There's always a dilemma of soldering or sweating pipe, copper pipe, when you want to hook up a connection. Like if you want to add a T over here, like we're going to do, we're going to add a T to this connection. But what you're worried about is, the worry here is, of course, that you may get water coming down the pipe as you're trying to solder, and you'll never be able to apply enough heat. If there's any water in there, it'll turn to steam, and you won't be able to sweat the joint. So what do? You go down to your favorite taco place. In this case, we go to Rudy's Country Star Barbecue, and you get, this is the plumber's best friend. You probably don't know about this, but this is white bread. Now, why do you use white bread? Well, the reason is you take this and you remove the crust. You take a slice of bread, you remove the crust, as I've done here earlier. I just removed the crust, and I made some tiny little dough balls like this. And what you do is you take the dough ball and you stuff it down the pipe, okay, like this. And what does that do? Well, that actually seals the pipe. Let me get another dough ball here. That actually seals the pipe and keeps water from running down the joint. So you just kind of stuff it down there. See if we can get a little bit more in here. And the reason to do that is that it blocks the water from coming down and actually ruining your joint. Okay, so now you stuff it some more. And the reason to use bread, of course, is that what happens with bread, well, you got to have white bread. You can't have whole grain bread or any of that, modern stuff. You got to use just Mrs. Baird's kind of white bread stuff. And you stuff it in there like this. You jam it in another piece of pipe. And now it's going to absorb and keep the water from ruining your joint. That's the plumber's best friend, white bread. Okay, now that you've got the joints prepped, you've got flux on the joints, everything's very, very clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness here. And we've got some white bread about right here. And we've got some white bread here in this pipe to keep it from going down the joint here that we're going to fasten. Okay, that's going to be very exciting in a minute. And the reason, of course, you use white bread is that without any grains is that when the water starts running again, the white bread, as you know, the white bread will dissolve, and it'll just come out of the sink or wherever, and then you'll have running water. If you used whole grain with little seeds, of course, the seeds would get stuck in faucets and so on. So now it's time to solder. Of course, what you also want to ensure is that you don't burn down the house, and so you've got, when your torch is on like this, you've got this torch running over here. You want to make sure that you have a piece of concrete board or something like that so that when you heat the joints up over here, you're not really burning down the house. That's the last thing you want to do. Make sure you have lots of water on hand, just in case you do need to put out the fire, or a fire extinguisher very handy. So I always have a bucket, a large bucket of water handy, or a couple of buckets just in case. So that's it. That's how you do it. Then now you have the final joint here. Looks very nice. We wait till it cools off a bit, and we should have hot and cold running water in the new sink. Okay, thank you.